Hey, good afternoon everyone, Trackman 44 here. As you can tell, I got the case 430 pushed into the shed, and to refresh your memory or to a new viewer, I thought this was going to be a quick and simple, easy starting tractor that's been sitting for probably 10 to 12 years, maybe even longer than that, I don't know. Turned out there's a little more of an issue in the motor than what I thought. So at any rate, went ahead and pushed it in the shop, and there's a couple of things that I need to make more convenient, and one of the things is I've got a leaking fluid-filled left rear tire. I don't want to get that off of there, and a lot of guys might not be too experienced in handling fluid-filled tires in like a 14-928. If you have roughly 40 gallons of fluid in a rear tire, bringing it up to approximately this level across here, 40 times 8 is 320, 350 pounds. So you're going to have the weight of the tire, the tube, the rim, and 350 additional pounds to contend with. Most of the time I got this under the overhead. I put a choker around it and I put a hoist up there for support and just gently swing it out with little or no effort. But I'm inside the shed now, I don't have that luxury in here. But we're going to go ahead and take that off to give access to the brake, because this has got the stuck left rear brake, but it's so much more convenient if I can get in there by getting this wheel off of here. So we're going to go ahead and take this guy off, get it on the ground, and then get it outside. You never know how stuck these things are. You get about 3 threads on 2 opposing bolts right there, and then we're going to have to knock this guy loose. Sometimes they break loose really easily. You can just grab a hold of them sometimes and just give them a nudge and they'll break loose. This guy here's been on for a long time, so I don't really know what to expect. But thread 2 of those back in about 3 revolutions, and then time to get the sledgehammer. And when it comes to this part here, don't have to worry about being gentle. Just don't give it a love tap and knock the dickens out of it, you know what I mean? Because you got to use the weight of that thing to break that rust bond. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it's loose. Remember, you got a lot of weight to contend with here. Once it lays down, you have to be able to get a choker underneath it or something to pick it up with another loader tractor if you're inside like this. So what I got an old truck tire sitting here. Hopefully we'll be able to walk this off of here. And don't worry about it, let it hit the ground, or in this case on your tire, so you can still get a choker underneath it in order to pick it up. Once it lays down flat, it's kind of tough to stand back up again, you know, when you're by yourself. Now, I was lucky enough to work construction most of my career. Well, I did mostly HVAC service, but I was on construction site building new buildings, running the piping and everything, you know, on HVAC system, chilled water, hot water, refrigerated piping. So a lot of times we would have third-party deliverers deliver massive quantities of piping material to the job, and on those bundles of piping, a lot of times we'd have 2 of these endless straps, one on each end. We'd pick them with a crane, set them on the ground, and then go off and leave them. Whenever we get done with the piping material, the straps would just lay there. Many times I'd retrieve these right out of the dumpster on the job sites, and a lot of times I'd catch the laborers and tell the laborers to save them for me because I got a use for them. I don't know what the lifting capacity is, but it's 3,500 pounds or something like that, depending on how you rig them or how you use them. But at any rate, I saved these things over the years because they just come in so handy for things like this around here. Now what I've done, I've just double looped this endless strap, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to come in, I'm going to loop a chain right through the shackle, pick this thing up and carry it outside. Well, you can see obviously we get to the brake housing a whole lot easier now. And also, in case we take the loader frame off, there's only 2 nuts that hold this fender bracket in place. So I'm going to go ahead and pop those guys off there and remove that fender, get it out of the way. And also might make it a little easier for me to get into that brake too. Okay, I admit that was a little sketchy getting the loader frame half off, but that's okay. You know, you do what you got to do. It worked out fine. Main thing, if you drop it, just don't drop it on your foot. Ain't no big deal, you know. But you can see, obviously, now we got everything ready to pull the brakes off, and so I have to have this brake fixed and that leaking tire. I'm going to have to fix that leaking tube or put a replacement on before we get to that point. So it's kind of being simultaneous, the things that we're doing, you know what I mean? So next step, I'm going to probably be taking the valve cover off and or the exhaust gasket. We're going to try to see what we can see inside from there, and then we'll make a decision on how far else we got to go. The very next thing, whenever I come back, I'm going to take the other side loader frame off, because that's where the starter motor is, and that's where I'll need to get in there with a pry bar and put just a little pressure on the flywheel, see if I can initiate any rotation at all on the crankshaft. It's been kind of a fun afternoon, and this is TractorMan 44, and I'm out of here, guys.